It's Christmas time again in Snowmonton, and they want to get away from it all.
It was exactly a year ago that it happened.
And that's why we should be somewhere else for Christmas.
Another beauteous day in heaven, eh?
Welcome to the Tropicana, your last resort before paradise.
This is a job for Captain Fun!
Jingle bells!
But there's trouble in paradise.
Get me the head of island security.
Oh no, not the scary dude. Scary dude's already here. You got 18 bodies to explain, man.
Food poisoning.
Mutant Killer Snowman.
Jack's back, and he's still one cold son of a...
Miss me?
Let's get it on.
Now there's something that needs a little Christmas stuffing. Oh yeah, I'm the man.
Well, that isn't the cutest little thing.
Wouldn't mind practicing a little breaststroke myself.
You hear that?
What's that?
The fat lady's warming up.
Jack Frost 2
Are you ready to scream?
from Apex Entertainment.
Wow. Hey guys, what's up? It's Adam here. I can't see the guy. You know, we're in the Christmas season now. It's going to be December in a week or two, and I like to think we're in the Christmas season. I've been reviewing a whole bunch of Christmas movies lately, starting with the Home Alone franchise. Glad that was over for what it lasted, you know what I mean. And then I got to review into a horror movie which came out in the year of 1997, known as Jack Frost. A horror movie, not to be confused with Michael Keaton's Christmas movie Jack Frost, but a horror movie which came out in the year 1997, known as Jack Frost, an evil snowman which went on a killing spree. Now I know what many of you are thinking. Many of you are thinking, you know, why the fuck would you watch a movie like that? Well, the truth is, I've got a rare taste when it comes to horror movies. I like crazy, over-the-top horror movies. Horror movies where toys come to life and go on a killing spree. Where you talk about the gingerbread man, where the gingerbread man goes on a killing spree. Well, this one's just like those crazy horror movies which I get a kick out of. You know, guilty pleasures. About a killer snowman going on a killing rampage. Only in the first movie, it was about Scott McDonald doing the voice of Jack Frost, who was being escorted in a prison van. The prison van crashed and went into a genetic research truck. He got melted into the snow. He became a snowman, only to get revenge on the sheriff. Scott Tyler, I believe his name was. No, Sam Tyler, played by Christopher Allport. You know, and it's about him causing havoc on this town around Christmas time. You know, he wants to kill the sheriff to get revenge on him for capturing him in the first place. And we all know the story of the first Jack Frost movie if you've not seen it. If you've not seen my review, please check it out. You know, Jack Frost in the first movie review. But then we get to the second movie, Jack Frost, The Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman, which came out in the year of 2000. It was completed in 1998, but it wasn't released until the year 2000. In fact, the official release date was November 1st of 2000. I'm not kidding everyone, this movie was crap, you know. At least in the first movie, you can call it a guilty pleasure. You know, the effects were really bad, the acting was very corny. It was nice to see that actress in it from American Pie, you know, Nadia, you know. I would say, well, she had like a memorable death scene where Jack Frost was like raping her and her head was being hit up against the wall until she died, you know, but it was like a fucked up scene, you know, but I don't know. All I've got to say is this sequel is about Jack Frost coming back to life because for some reason, and I don't know why, the FBI dug up his remains when they was in like these bottles of antifreeze, and they take them to a lab to be assessed. One accident leads to another, and coffee ends up getting spilt in the antifreeze, and this somehow resurrects Jack Frost. And we learn that from the fights from the first movie, Jack Frost is now in the blood of Sam Tyler, the sheriff, and they get a connection from each other, knowing where each other are, like a psychic connection. It was nice to see Christopher Albert come back, you know, as Sam Tyler in this movie, and it was nice to hear Scott McDonald's voice again as Jack Frost. But there was nothing special about this movie at all. At least you could call the first movie a guilty pleasure. This movie was a major step down from the first movie, with less money, even more cornier jokes, in fact childish humour. The effects were terrible, and none of the actors and characters were likeable in this movie. You know, it was a pretty damn terrible movie. It doesn't say what the budget was, but it was distributed by Apex Entertainment. The movie isn't on for very long, an hour and a half, but it seems like the longest hour and a half of your whole fucking life. Because when Jack Frost gets resurrected from the coffee in the lab, he goes to this tropical island where Sam Tyler is. Sam Tyler is having these flashbacks. He's having a hard time coping with what Jack Frost did in the first movie. And he goes to tropical island to go for a wedding by one of his deputies. Jack Frost detects this and he ends up going to the tropical island. And he's got one intention in mind, to kill Sam Tyler, basically for the same reasons as he did in the first movie. To redeem himself, basically. Sam Tyler detects there's one bad thing after another because all these killings are starting to happen. The tropical island's getting bizarre weather because it's snowing. When it's meant to be really sun shining and hot weather, it's actually snowing. At least in the first movie, you can say there were some memorable death scenes. Like the scene where Nadia's boyfriend is stabbing Jack Frost with a knife, he can't kill him, and he shoots them ice daggers through his brain. You see that memorable scene where his brain is thumping through the back door, you know, and you see the ice dagger scenes, and you see these other stabbing scenes that had a lot of blood. There's hardly any gore whatsoever in this movie. You know, it wasn't even rated R. It was like a childish B-movie version of Jack Frost. But with less money, less practical effects, more horrendous acting, and less ideas for a script. You know, anyone could have made this movie. Anyone could have put this movie together and call it Jack Frost 2, The Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. We learn that Jack Frost has got more powers because he can shoot these baby snowballs at people. And these baby snowballs eat people. They, like, chew on people's flesh and all that kind of thing. But no, don't be fooled. There's no major gore. There's no anything like that. And I don't know what to expect from this when one of the baby snowballs dies in Jack Frost's hands and he starts crying. So how the hell can we take this villain seriously when he's crying like Michael Myers? You know, in The Revenge of Michael Myers, where Michael Myers is crying, Jack Frost is doing the exact same thing here when one of his baby snowballs dies in his hand. So, a snowman crying because a snowball dies in his hands. Okay. And throughout the movie, it's just Sam Tyler just trying to defeat Jack Frost with all the help of the people on the tropical island. There's even a scene, you know, where a woman is like swimming in a swimming pool. Jack Frost puts his hand in the water to freeze the water, and she gets frozen alive. I think there's a scene where Jack Frost turns into ice cubes, and this model is like rubbing these ice cubes all over her boobs, you know, to harden her nipples and things like that. And Jack Frost is like having this fucking major orgasm, going, oh yeah, baby, this is good. And it's just a very hard movie to explain, this movie. I mean, in a nutshell, all I can say is Jack Frost returns from the antifreeze after an accident in the lab. He follows Sam Tyler to a tropical island where his deputy is having a wedding, and he causes havoc on the tropical island by first making it snow, making it have all this weird, strange weather. And it's just him going on a rampage basically with Sam Tyler and some survivors of the island. I mean, there's even this scene where they have water guns, you know, spraying antifreeze at Jack Frost, like they tried to do in the first movie. It's so corny, it's so childish. It's a fucking retarded movie. I'll never watch this movie again. I remember watching this movie back in the day after when I watched the first Jack Frost movie. I didn't even know there was a sequel to this movie, the first Jack Frost movie. Because I get a kick out of the first Jack Frost movie. I mean, at least it's corny up to the point where you can enjoy it. In this movie, it's a major step down, and there's nothing funny about it. There's nothing guilty pleasured about it. You know, there's nothing about this movie that makes you get a kick out of the movie because of guilty pleasure reasons. You know, there's none of that in this movie. Again, it's made by the same director, Michael Cooney, and I've just been doing some research that he wanted to make a Jack Frost 3, because at the end of this movie a giant carrot drops into the water on this ship, indicating that Jack Frost is still alive. And from what I heard, he wanted to do a third movie, a proposed sequel. In December 2026, writer and director Michael Cooney revealed there was a plan for a third movie in the series, which would have featured a giant Jack Frost known as Jackzilla. The film would have picked up following an ending of the second movie, with a giant Jack Frost letting loose on the city, causing destruction and mayhem. Cooney expressed interest in making the third installment due to the advances of the special effects. I would be happy if someone would be willing to help me make it, as I was a special place in his heart. That's what it says on Wikipedia. Well, after the disastrous sequel known as Jack Frost 2, The Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman in 2000, I'm kind of glad they didn't go along with that. But unfortunately, the actor who played Sheriff Tam Tyler, who played by Christopher Allport, passed away in an avalanche, which was really sad to hear. So he wouldn't have any involvement in the sequel. But like I say, we're in 2025 now. I really doubt that in talks of a third film would actually ever happen. So... But overall, in a nutshell, everybody, this was not a very good sequel. It sucked. When you got a snowman crying because of a snowball dying, or poor kills, poor effects, there's like no memorable moments to even remember about this movie. There's nothing in this movie that compares to the first movie. At least in the first movie you get your shits and giggles, but in this movie there was none of it whatsoever. You know, it was a really shit sequel, and I won't be watching it again. You know, like I say, it's only on for like an hour and a half, but it seems like the longest hour and a half minute of your life. Don't watch this movie. If you're like me, if you like your taste in good horror movies where you like strange things coming to life and going killing sprees, whether it's toys, gingerbread men, or anything for that matter, then check out the first movie. I do recommend the first movie, but this movie, not so much. You know, I mean, I like weird, fucked up horror movies, but this one didn't even feel like a horror movie. It was a 2000 American direct-to-video comedy slasher film, and it has a cult following, like its predecessor. But I don't know. This movie was fucking terrible. Yeah, I don't know what much more there is to say about this movie. I'm just looking at some information right here, but it's hardly anything to talk about. I mean, I've already said it was directed by Michael Cooney. It was nice to see some of the old stars come back for the sequel, but whatever. That's all I've got to say, everybody. So yeah, please like, rate, and comment. If you've got any questions, that's my review for Jack Frost 2, the Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. Fucking terrible film, fucking awful, corny as fuck, badly acted, badly lit, and nothing likeable about it. I recommend the first movie, but this one was like a terrible sequel. A major step down. It was like a B movie. Jack Frost turned into a B movie, but with less scares, less humour, more corny one-liners from Jack Frost, who was once was Scott McDonald, but again, nothing like he pulled off in the first movie. But thanks for watching this, everyone. And email if you've got any questions. Leave all your comments below. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.